It is purely because of accountability. Of course, members of the National Assembly and the Senate are going to engage in debate on the State of the Nation address. But when the president leaves out intentionally some rather obvious happenings in the country, that says a lot. That there will be no opportunity for the Senate or the National Assembly to examine his sentiments on issues like human rights, which have been a constant discussion this whole year. Why in your thinking, Hans, do you think the president left out that? It is one of the national values, and it's not that we do not have instances where he needed to address.
Fred, I wouldn't have a negative thinking. The reason why he left this is because of he didn't want to discuss it. Just the same way, the fact that he discussed some meant that meant that probably it was maybe to cover up other things. I'm just asking myself, like, you cannot say everything. There are many even successes which he never indicated. Like even how he has supported the sports industry. We see how our Harambee Stars, he gave a real support to Harambee Stars, renovations in Kasarani, Nyayo, Thalan. There are many other things that President didn't mention which are of success in his government. And maybe the others that he didn't mention which are not yet at the point whereby Kenyans are expecting it to be. So it doesn't mean that it was intentional or to do. So we shouldn't criminalize what hasn't been discussed. What we should be in a position today to do is to be mature enough and appreciate what has been done and criticize which hasn't been done. And that is the better way we can take Kenya forward today. If today we are seated here to discuss only what President has not done.
Do you feel like human rights is something that needs to be discussed, police brutality and issues around that?
It is, but it doesn't mean that because it was not stated yesterday at the State of the Nation, it's not discussed. It's always discussed. It doesn't mean that everything that is important had to be mentioned yesterday, Fred. Mm-hmm. Or you cannot mention everything. Even if today you are given a 2-hour address to address Parliament, you will never mention everything that you're doing as a national government. The other things you might find yourself slipped over and so on. Mm-hmm. But that doesn't mean that the government is insensitive about it. We cannot have our thinking today and say, just because this was never discussed, that it means that the president didn't want it to do. And asking myself lastly is, everyone today will always have a reason of what a president has not done. If you say today the president has time to visit the members of parliament, have a meeting with members of parliament, he never had a time to visit the victims of abduction and killings. So if the president today visits them, will this criticism end? No. Someone else will come and say the president didn't launch a dual carriage all the way to Notice, and if he launches today, this criticism will end? No. Let me tell you lastly, as I hand over the mic is, we have a team today in Kenya whereby we've developed politics of tribal. You support somebody based from your tribe, nationally. Number 2, we support leadership today in Kenya based on personal benefit. Either party I'm in, if it's in the government, probably you defend it so that you feel you're in the government. If you're in the opposition, you'll fight to get into the government. We rarely have real, true ideological discussions. That's why today there are people who from January to January will always discredit whatever the president has done. Not a time, you can never say that the president, out of 100 promises, all of them are 0. Unless we are all mad.
We are asking a specific question about the human rights. And chapter, if you look at Article 10, is actually one of the shortest in the Constitution, where it provides for the national values and principles of governance. It is very easy to actually tabulate each of them and just talk about each one of them. Why do you feel, are there conversations that are too painful or too difficult to be addressed in such a forum?
The president, being the president of Kenya, once again I've said that before a leader is elected, in whichever position, be it president, be it a woman rep, be it an MP, it means that they have the capacity to serve the citizens that elected them. And therefore, matters of human rights or any other issues affecting Kenyans, it should not be difficult for the president to explain to Kenyans, to talk to Kenyans. And again, speaking on the human rights issue, yesterday as I was speaking to the president address the nation, you know, I was reflecting and I wondered to myself, where is the president's love for Kenyans and this country? Where is the president's empathy for Kenyans? Where is the president's patriotism? Where's the president's, you know, servant leadership? Because it is lacking. And of course, he left key issues like corruption. Corruption, it is still rampant in our countries. It is denying citizens the dignity of services from their taxes. And therefore, I think to condole myself, I just ended up reading this verse from the Bible in Matthew 12:34. The mouth speaks what the heart is full of, says the Bible. And therefore, I think there's still hope for us Kenyans. The good thing is that our good constitution, which the president and his government do not follow. And you remember that, Fred, yesterday the opposition held a press brief, and they raised concerns about, again, the president not following the constitution. I know the opposition based their claims on how the government is conducting the current by-elections countrywide. You've seen the state's officials participating in the campaigns, which is against the constitution. So truly, we did not expect somehow the president to touch on the constitution, because he himself is a perpetrator and is among the people breaching the constitution.
Right.
Yeah.
I can see we have very few minutes, and I'd like to give each one of you an opportunity.
Give us a minute. You know, I was listening to Mr. Hans, our chief protagonist of the day of the UDA. I want to take you down memory history. Why the president is struggling, allegedly, to give an accountability of loss of human rights. One, is because this is a man who went to Hague on accounts of lives that were lost in an election. The people of Kiambaa until today have not recovered. There's so many lives that were, the case at the Hague,
I'm coming there.
I'm coming there, Fred.
You want to make a direct accusation.
No.
Don't want to take
I said allegedly.
Direction, yes.
I said allegedly because the case was not closed. Because of lack of witnesses. It means the case is still valid.
What's the point?
You get? Yes. I'm saying that Kenyans are saying these are patterns. 2007, we saw a pattern allegedly that a man was taken to Hague for the loss of human lives. Fast forward 2024, lives were lost. Still no accountability. 2025, lives were lost. Still no accountability. So Kenyans are saying, in simply, that we have seen the pattern. We have seen the pattern, Fred, that he simply does not value so much the essence of human life. And because, Fred, it is agitating Kenyans more to make sure that this president exists and serves only for one term.
All right.
Yes.
Allow me to give you some time, not a minute, a bit more than a minute, probably to give a way forward from this, because yes, the president gave his State of the Nation address. Many people, and I could tell from this panel, out of 6, 5 are just feeling like, no. Okay, so what would you have expected the president to have done? And are we dismissing his State of the Nation address in its entirety?
Okay, I cannot say we will dismiss all he said, because there are some which are true, very few in fact. But I want to say first, in the entire address, let's remove one thing that has been repeating in his address for the last 2 years. Let's remove, what do you call, the subsidy on fertilizer and housing project. What else? And let's also remove the Singapore and whatever, those issues. What else? A youth from Isiolo will say, okay, I've listened to my president saying, these are the industries that came to Isiolo, it has employed 1, 2, 3 people. These are the benefits I've given to this youth and their talents. Kuna stadium in Isiolo that is built. There is this people connected to the national grid. There is 1, 2, 3, maybe a hub for the youth, a e-hub is there. What is it that I can sit and say, okay, as a youth, leave of fertilizer and whatever, they are part of this country that don't even know what is fertilizer. To us, it's not even useful. What's fertilizer? For you in Isiolo, what's fertilizer? What's affordable housing? A president came, I still remember him because I was there with him in Isiolo, launched a very fancy, I don't know, is it called Industrial Park? Where he left is exactly, I don't know, what do you call that thing, President Anafankwanga?
The plaque, yeah.
That's the only thing that's still there. So as a youth, what will I listen to this president and say, okay, I'm innovative, okay, I have some skills and some talents. So I sat and listened to him, and I wanted to hear, there is this opportunity that's coming your way. As a young, innovative person, you can tap into this, then at least you benefit. Mm-hmm. I think the entire thing, the only thing President told us repetitively, that I don't know how many houses were built, it is giving how many people which kind of jobs. My friend, in which part of this country can you say, me as Mohamud, I've been given a job, ya kujenga, now I'm building. How long will it take for me to build that affordable housing?
Right.
What next after now?
Yet